As you guys can see, it's slowly turning into fall. Thankfully, this has been a terribly hot summer, the hottest on record in over 100 years. Terrible. I hate the heat. I just have not been too happy with that. Finally, it's starting to cool down a little bit. Now, this is a surprise to you, I'm sure, but I traded the Wheelhorse 800 to my dad to get this back. For those of you that might not know, this has a 8 horsepower Kohler K181. Pretty good running engine. I redid the head on this over a year ago, and just have quite a connection with this tractor. And straight up even trade. He was happy, I think, hopefully, and I was super happy to have this back. It says the 3-speed IH trans on it, and I got this actually at my local show, the Nittany Antique Machinery Show. A guy that I buy from year after year after year had this cart, and he had a pretty steep price on it, and he just gave me one heck of a deal. This is not, and I will repeat, not a true IH cart. This is an aftermarket, I believe he said Johnson cart, that was made for IH Cubs and Wheelhorses specifically. This is something that you just can't find a lot of information on. This is basically a number 3 cart widened with fenders. And so, this is aftermarket. It was more money than the regular IH cart, and a lot of people just really didn't want them because of that. Real good dumping mechanism. I could sit in that. I'm 250 pounds, and it doesn't notice it one bit. I assume that's right around, 250, 300 is probably the range, but who knows, as well as these are built, it could possibly hold up to 500. I won't go past that though. It doesn't seem to have a flex or a bend when I stand on it or put my foot on it, so I waited to do this video until I got a pin. I was using a screwdriver, which just looked terrible. But I am very happy I got this tractor back. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I didn't show it like I thought I was going to. Mainly because we took over more tractors than we even thought. And I decided it wasn't worth taking this over, it would be more of a hassle. Now, I traded these wheels and tires out with the Wheelhorses, so this is why this has Ags now and that has turfs. I made a mistake. I put those tires and rims on this with the external brakes, and it had an internal valve stem, and that was a $120 mistake. Needless to say, that was quite unfortunate. Now this I hope to have running in about a week. I told the friend of mine that has a starter who got it rebuilt for me that I would like to get it back in the next week and get it running as my birthday present. I'm very excited to use a Wheelhorse. They're great for snow plowing. This has a 12 horsepower Tecumseh engine and a Wheelhorse 3-speed. The Wheelhorses have my favorite belt-driven rear ends in them. They're by far my favorite. I like them over any other belt-driven trans. Very simple, very efficient, they're geared just perfect. The Cub's geared a little high, in my opinion, but it's also got a smaller engine. If there was an 8 horsepower in one of these, it might not be so bad because you're geared lower. But that's for you to decide. I definitely really like these. Nothing wrong with Cubs. They're awesome as any other of these brands. These 3 are perfect. You can't get better than any of them, compared to the new stuff. I don't have a plow hitch. I gave that away with the 800. I was in contact with a gentleman trying to buy one, and him and I had an agreement. I went to a show, and I said, I might not be able to get it out as soon as I'd like, the payment. He's like, that's okay, I'll just box it up, keep it ready to go with your address. And long story short, I messaged him and said, hey, I'm ready to send the money out. I got the check written out, ready to go in your name. And he said, oh, well, I hope you don't need a plow hitch, or need the plow hitch. And I said, I do. He never got back to me. I assume he sold the plow hitch. Why, I don't know. It kind of puts a damper on everything. But my dad said he's letting me borrow one of his plow hitches, which I think maybe all of his wheel horses have a plow hitch. If not, everyone besides one has a plow hitch. So that might just work out. But that's kind of the story on that. I have the chains for it. That's why I swapped these tires out. Ags are great, but just not around here. We get a lot of ice and a lot of deep snow. And there's just a point where those ags do quit just working. You know, they look cool. They look like they'd really go through the snow. But in reality, for what we get around here, it's risky. You know, there's always a potential to get a 2-foot snowstorm. And in that case, ags are just not going to work. And that's when you need chains. And I like to be prepared. You don't know, there are winters that, such as winter 2013. I love that winter. That was my favorite winter ever. But you get 3 snowstorms in a week for months after months. You don't have room to put the snow. That was quite a winter, and I just like to be prepared for that exact type of winter. It's always better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. Now here's a snow blade. The scraper blade has been worn down so far that it wore the bolts halfway down, and the nuts, or whatever you want to call them. And so I can't take the scraper blade off. I have to cut it off to replace it. That's just stupid. Why anybody would let it get that far is way beyond me. But I'm very happy to have a plow. I have no complaints. Just quite unfortunate. Now this, I have to give an ultimate shout out to my good friend, as some of you know on YouTube, Mike, or his YouTube name is Michael TJD60. And he's a great guy. I've had the honor of meeting him twice now. We hung out at my local fair now that him and I are kind of local to each other now. And we hung out at the local show, and that was pretty cool. But before the fair, he actually fixed this for me. As some of you know, I had a governor issue. Right about there, it just over-revved. And my stupid push mower quit running, which, just my luck. I just have to get the carb cleaned, I'm sure that's all it is. But he ended up adjusting that and fixing it so I can go full throttle, and it just revs perfectly. Doesn't over rev, it cuts great. It's a little bigger than I really should be using of a deck for this yard, but you gotta use what you gotta use. Maybe I can find a cheap rear engine rider with a deck. That would be ideal, and I'll just end up giving that to my mom. And when I move out, I'll just end up using that around here. Come over once a week, help out. But that's a little ways down the road. This 316 is going to be kept for when I do move out. This will be my mowing tractor. And as of now, I do believe all these are going to be kept. I actually am going to be pulling out of the hobby a little bit. Now, what I mean by that is I'm just not going to be doing a lot of buying. The reason is my money situation is going to end up being a little more different. So that kind of sucks. But with school, I don't have time to get a job. I have to worry about getting done with school. Unfortunately, I'm a little behind. So hopefully I'll be out in the next year and only get out a year behind. But after that, I'll be going, back into the hobby. And hopefully I can get some unique videos out to you this year. I also want you guys to tell me what you think of Farming Simulator 17. I was thinking of getting that and making some videos for this channel. Especially for this winter, some of the colder days, I feel like that would be a great thing to pass some time and throw some videos up. I could throw commentary over that. Whatever you guys like, let me know. I can throw in some gaming videos, tractor related of course, or whatever you guys want. Just throw it out there and we'll see what happens. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys like this, and I'll get some more videos up. I shouldn't be as busy, so the videos should be coming in pretty good. This is going to be a hefty winter preparation I got going here, and should give me some decent videos. So thank you guys. Please like, subscribe, and don't be afraid to check out my other videos. Bye.